You ever have that feeling, you work so hard all month long, you get your paycheck, and then poof, a huge chunk of it just vanishes before you even get a say? Well, you're definitely not alone. That right there is the EMI trap, and today we're going to draw you a map to get out of it.
I was talking to a viewer not too long ago. Let's just call him Rahul. He's got a decent salary, right? $75,000 a month. But between his home loan, his car loan, and some credit card bills, a whopping 45,000 rupees disappears every single month. Just think about that. For more than half of every month, all his hard work, all his effort, it's just going straight to the bank. And his story? It's a story I hear over and over again.
So it's a tough question, but you really got to ask yourself this. When you look at your salary slip, who's the biggest winner from all your hard work? Is it you and your family? Or is it the institutions that you owe money to? Let's peel back the curtain and see exactly how this trap is set.
Right, so loans are always sold to us with these friendly-sounding phrases, Easy EMIs, light on your salary, all that stuff. But what the banks rarely, if ever, show you is the full picture. And honestly, it's because that full picture is pretty terrifying. Let me show you what they don't put in the brochure. Okay, imagine you're taking out a 75 lakh home loan. You've got two options. Option A, a 10-year plan. The EMI is a pretty hefty 93,000 rupees. Ouch. But then there's option B. Stretch it out over 30 years and suddenly the EMI drops to a much more manageable 57,000. Now that second option, it looks like a no-brainer, right? The smarter choice? Well, not so fast. So with that 10-year loan, on top of the 75 lakhs you borrowed, you'll end up paying a total of 36 lakhs in interest. That's a lot of money. It's about half the value of the loan itself. But now let's take a look at that affordable option. No, that is not a typo. By choosing that lower, more affordable EMI over 30 years, you end up paying 1.32 crore in interest alone. That's almost double what you borrowed in the first place. You basically end up paying the bank for your home almost 3 times over. This, right here, is the very heart of the trap.
Now, here's the really sneaky part, how they structure your payments. See, loans work on what's called a reducing balance. It sounds complicated, but all it means is that in the early years, most of your EMI, it isn't even touching the loan you took. It's just going to pay off the interest. Look at this. In your very first payment, more than half of your hard-earned money is just interest for the bank.
Let this sink in for a second. You've been paying diligently for 5 whole years. That's halfway through a 10-year loan. You'd think you've paid off half of it, right? But the reality is, you've barely made a dent in what you actually owe. It's like you're running on a financial treadmill, putting in all this effort, sweating it out, but you're barely moving forward. But please, don't despair. There is a way off this thing.
Okay, enough about the problem. It's scary, we get it. Let's get to the solution. We've put together a clear 4-step escape plan that literally anyone can follow. This is how you take back control of your money and start walking the path to being completely debt-free.
We're going to walk through each one of these together. First up, we get a crystal clear picture of the situation with a loan inventory. Second, we choose our attack method. After that, we figure out how to optimize the loans you already have. And finally, we do a full financial audit to find that extra cash to really speed things up.
All right, step 1 is all about brutal honesty and total clarity. You have to create a loan inventory. List out every single debt you have. Credit cards, personal loans, the whole shebang. And for each one, write down all the key details you see here. This whole exercise gives you a super important number, your debt-to-income ratio. That's just your total monthly EMIs divided by your monthly income. Now, step 2 is absolutely crucial, so listen up. Studies have shown people who focus all their extra firepower on killing one loan at a time, they're way more successful than people who sprinkle a little extra money here and there across all their debts. So you keep making the minimum payments on everything, of course, but every extra rupee you can find, it gets aimed like a laser beam at one single targeted loan. The question is, which one?
And that brings us to the 2 big strategies for deciding which loan to attack first. They're famously known as the avalanche and the snowball methods. Let's break down how they work and figure out which one is right for you.
So, the avalanche method is all about the math. It's the logical choice. You find the loan with the absolute highest interest rate, and you attack that one first. Simple. This approach will save you the most money in interest over the long run. Then you have the snowball method. This one is all about psychology, all about your emotions. You find the loan with the smallest balance, forget the interest rate, and you destroy that one first. This gives you these amazing, quick wins that build motivation and create some serious momentum.
So which one should you pick?
Look, mathematically, the avalanche method is superior, no doubt. But my personal recommendation for most people, it's the snowball method. Because for someone who feels buried and crushed by debt, that psychological boost you get from completely wiping a loan off your list, even a tiny one, it's just incredibly powerful. That feeling of victory becomes the fuel that keeps you going for the bigger fights ahead.
But what if you're thinking, this is all great, but I don't have any extra money? That's where step 3 comes in. This is all about lowering the actual cost of your debt. You can look into things like debt consolidation, lumping all your high-interest credit card debt into one personal loan with a better rate. You can use balance transfers, you can refinance your home loan, or you can even just pick up the phone, call your bank, and try to negotiate. Seriously, you'd be surprised how often they're willing to help you out if you just ask.
And that brings us to step 4, actively finding more money. Think of this as a treasure hunt in your own budget. Track your spending to find and plug what I call money leaks. You know, those small daily expenses that just add up to a fortune. Make some temporary cuts to your lifestyle. Maybe look for ways to bring in some extra income. And most importantly, live by the windfall rule. Anytime you get a bonus, a tax refund, any unexpected cash, you have to promise yourself that at least half of it goes straight to killing your debt.
Now, for those of you who do have a little bit of extra cash flow, I want to share a bonus strategy. This is what I call the rockstar method. And let me tell you, it's an unbelievably powerful way to completely demolish a long-term beast like a home loan.
The beauty of this method is how simple it is. It has just 2 rules. Rule number 1, every single year you voluntarily increase your EMI by 10%. Rule number 2, at some point during that year, you make one extra full EMI payment. That's it. Just those 2 small changes.
And the result of this simple strategy? It is absolutely staggering. By following those 2 little rules, you can pay off a 25-year home loan in just 10 years. You'll save over 60% of the total interest you would have paid. It's an insane way to fast-forward your journey to freedom.
Look, all of these steps, all these strategies, they're just tools. They're tactics. But they all serve one single ultimate goal. And that is to achieve real financial freedom. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about a feeling.
And I can tell you this from my own personal experience. I started my journey at 24, and it took me 16 long years to pay off every single loan I had. Education, business, home loans, everything. When I started, the total amount just seemed impossible, but I stuck with it, step by step, one loan at a time. And when I turned 40, the day I made that very last payment, it genuinely felt like I was free for the first time in my entire adult life.
That feeling of freedom, it is achievable. I promise you. The path isn't easy. It takes real discipline, but it is a clear path. The strategies we've talked about today really, really work. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What will your first day of freedom feel like?